For basically as long as I can remember, I've always been a fan of Plants vs. Zombies. I remember playing it on my mom's phone when I was like 4 or 5 years old, until now where I occasionally hop on Plants vs. Zombies 2 to abuse the fact that I have electric peas. But something else I've found interesting were creepypastas, basically internet horror stories that will either have original characters or use already existing IPs to make a horror story. And 99% of the time, these creepypastas really suck. But I'm not here to dunk on these old creepypastas. I'm here to talk about the creepier side of Plants vs. Zombies. Well, more of what the fan base has done. I'll be talking about a few different Plants vs. Zombies creepypastas that can either be really good or really bad. Also, I do apologize if you guys hear a bunch of background noise. There's some people working on a house just down the street from me. I'm pretty sure their roof literally caved in, so that's pretty bad. But before we begin, may I ask you to consider joining my Discord server and getting it to 100 members? Once we hit that goal, I'll start doing better events, and I'll even post pictures of my cats and my dogs there. Anyways, let's make sure we got enough sun collected, our lawn is defended, and protect our brains as we're diving right into the strange world of Plants vs. Zombies creepypastas. The first PvZ creepypasta I'll be discussing is I'm So Sorry, and it's fairly short, so let's get right into it. The video starts out with the regular PvZ menu, where we then click the Zen Garden icon and sent to a pretty full Zen Garden, until the video completely deep fries itself with the sound of what I can only describe as putting your phone in the microwave and setting it to 5 minutes. Then the screen statics and some screams can be heard. Then we're shown the main menu again, but it's all dark and gloomy now, with the name at the top left changing to I'm So Sorry, and the gravestone having nothing but the number 14 on it. The player clicks on Dave's car keys, but instead of the shop, we're shown a faceless Dave coming up to a hospital bed with a mosaic sensor on it. And Dave is shown and heard saying I'm so sorry a few times. Then we hear a flat line and the screen turns to a red static with some very loud screams in it. We're then shown some words, she's gone forever. But back to the main menu, the player clicks to the Zen Garden and it shows Dave, who's definitely just floating in the air and not anything else. That was pretty much the whole creepypasta. What I take from it is that Dave did something involving his car that got someone he loved killed. Then he couldn't handle this guilt and had to send himself back to the lobby. I'm honestly not a fan of this story. It feels way too quick and not enough impact for it to really work. The actual video itself is less than 3 minutes, so there wasn't much to work with anyways. If I were to give it a rating, I'd give it a solid 3 out of 10. Let's move on. The next PvZ creepypasta I'll be discussing is called Free XP.zen, free version, and starts out with our protagonist, we'll name him Don, talking about how he was on some free game site to play PvZ at school and found something weird. He boots up the game and it seems normal except for a few things like the plants having no mouths, the zombies looking like they got hit with the IBIS paint smudge tool, and weird percentages on the loading bar below. The main menu is no weirder, a few buttons are missing and a different font is used for them. Don tries clicking on the more free games button, but it gives him some ominous messages. He clicks new game and it sets to a continue game, but he clicks restart and plays as usual, except for the fact that the pea shooters are only 50 sun and have no eyes, and they don't even shoot peas at the approaching zombies. This leads to the level being lost with a weird game over screen. So Don decides to speed up the pea shooters by editing the speed of the plants with a cheat engine. The pea shooters now work and Don unlocks a sunflower. The next level continues as usual, or as usual as you could get with this version, and he unlocks a cherry bomb. Next level again goes as usual, but the cherry bomb is only 25 sun, so he decides to just go bombs away on this level. Now he unlocks the walnut with no face. You're probably bored by now, so I'll skip to when something actually interesting happens. Don beats level 4 and gets the shovel, but his game crashes, so he opens it back up to find a weird looking Dave without his iconic beard. Then Don plays the walnut bowling level with invisible walnuts, and unlocks a noob Cybot version of the potato mine. Next level, for some reason, when the preview of the zombies is shown, they have no heads and a sunflower is with them. This is also where I noticed this weird black box by the tree up here. This level decides to handicap Don by making the cherry bomb 3,333 sun, which would be impossible early on. After delaying his death, the sunflower from earlier just walks up on the screen and floats like a Viltrumite to the end of the screen. But turns out this was actually a pole zombie, judging by the death animation. Then finally, the zombies break through the defense and eat some brains. And then a censored box appears with some screens, and we're told with some text that this was censored for graphic content. Then a message pops up that says, "You not supposed to get this far," and the game crashes. This is the end of this PvZ creepypasta. Unlike the previous one, this one doesn't really follow a story, just a creepy version of Plants vs. Zombies. I'm not a fan of these kinds of creepypastas as they feel pretty lame and overdone. If I were to give it a rating, I would give it a solid 5 out of 10. Let's move on. The third and final PvZ creepypasta I'll go over is called deadplants.mp4, which is the most popular PvZ creepypasta. Deadplants.mp4 starts with our protagonist, Nick, talking about how this new PvZ anomaly. The game starts as normal. Really, only the zombie that pops out of the loading bar looks a little weird. Nick tries clicking on new game, but it took a few clicks. Something else that was weird was that there were more zombie spawns and levels lasted way longer. This is pretty much the whole thing until we get to the night levels, where some of the gravestones had names such as Zoe Mano, which at first I thought was Joe Mama. Nick then goes on to say that this game was meant for someone else, showing us the footage. On level 5-9, instead of getting the regular note, Nick gets this one that looks like Russian, and it says, "This is the end. Good luck." And it's signatured by someone named Honey. Now, for the final boss battle with Dr. Zomboss, the level is super dark and we even see the same zombie from the loading bar from earlier. That's when we're shown what Dr. Zomboss looks like. He takes a super creepy appearance and what looks like a skull on the front of the robot. The battle continues on until Dr. Zomboss is defeated, where Nick is prompted to pick up the skull, and the screen fades to black, with a name at the bottom, Dinana Matthew. Then,
"Why did you do this to us, Matthew? Or am I talking to you, Dinana, my darling? It's been years since the last I saw you, my child. Oh, look at you. You've grown so much ever since I saw you 7 years ago. You freed your own mother, Dinana. I can finally speak to you after all these years."
it slowly fades to a new level and more text.
"Do you want a last level before I leave, darling?"
The new level goes on until a black fog covers the right side of the screen and a weird looking pea shooter appearing in it. Then a wave of zombies approach. Then for each plant that is 8, they appear as lifeless husks in the black fog, until Nick is able to set up a pretty good defense. It then cuts to black and then to some artwork of 2 people and some text.
"I and your dad was a family, Dinana. All the names on the graves are the names I remember of the ones he left to die. Haven't you recognized them and ever questioned why did they die? He left me to die, left my sister to die, left my brother to die, left my mother to die, and my family to die. All for a stupid war."
The game plays back, but with a tougher wave of zombies, and a few end up breaking through the defenses and the screen loses color.
"I'll give you another chance, darling."
Nick is sent back, now with 3 Peters to support him, but when he sets off a cherry bomb, it cuts to black with only the weird pea shooter.
"I'm sorry for ever leaving you. Thank you for finding us and freeing us once and for all."
The screen fades to black, and then the game crashes.
That was interesting, to say the least.
Oh my gosh. Going into this, I expected just some dumb creepypasta of plants dying and then being mad at the player for killing them. But no, I was fed probably one of the better gaming creepypastas I've ever read, or seen in this case. Certainly a lot better than what most creepypastas are. My expectations were very low, but this video blew it out of the water with the story. From what I've gathered, it seemed that some mother whose soul was trapped in a copy of Plants vs. Zombies alongside a few others, and because Nick beat the game, it set them free. But I don't think Nick was supposed to be the one that beat the game. This Dinana person mentioned seems to have been the daughter of this mother, and it seems she set it up so that Dinana would be the one to set them free. But Nick just so happened to be the one to set them free. Now, how exactly did a father going to some war lead to a mother and her family getting stuck in a PvZ ROM hack? Pfft, beats me. Anyway, if I were to give it a rating, I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. But I think that's where I'm going to end it off. I went through like 5 or 6 different creepypastas and only picked the ones that I thought would be interesting. So, if you liked today's video, then like, comment, and subscribe to keep me in the algorithm and join my Discord server. And finally, I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye!